Good morning. Welcome to Light Embassy, taking His glory to the ends of the world. This morning's message is captioned The Source and the Channels. The Source and the Channels. And our theme scripture is taken from the book of Jeremiah, chapter 17, from verse 5 to 8. Please, I'm reading from the KJV. God spoke through the prophet Jeremiah, saying, Cursed is the man who trusts in man and makes flesh his strength, whose heart departs from the Lord. For he shall be like a shrub in the desert, and shall not see when good comes, but shall inhabit the parched places in the wilderness, in a salt land which is not inhabited. Again, it says, Cursed is the man who trusts in man and makes flesh his strength, whose heart departs from the Lord. For he shall be like a shrub in the desert, and shall not see when good comes, but shall inhabit the parched places in the wilderness, in a salt land which is not inhabited. When God speaks, it's very important we listen as Christians. He says, Cursed is the man who trusts in man. See, there are many Christians that many times when you are with them, their conversation only becomes their associates, right? There's Christians around the world that sometimes they boast in a minister that they know, they boast in their profession, they boast in their relatives, they boast in people in high power that they are associated with. They boast in their money. They boast in all kinds of things. It's like John would call it the boastings and the confidence of life. Now, what God is saying here is that cursed is such a man. God says that cursed is that man. Cursed is such that woman who boasts. No wonder Paul says, glory not in man. Glory not in man. Why glory not in man? Because God says that cursed is the one who glories in man. Cursed is the one who boasts in his affiliates. He boasts, right? In his associate, acquaintances. He or she boasts in them. He boasts in the externals. People that he knows. Or is that how his or her communication is like? Says, Cursed is such man. Now you have to notice that God didn't say financially cursed is that man. He didn't specify. He didn't say financially cursed is that man. So he's not saying that if you are somebody who is like that, you are going to crumble financially. That's not what he said. See, there can be someone who will be boasting in his money but will die early. For instance, Jesus last time we looked at it in the book of Luke, Gospel of Luke, right? When Jesus talked about the man, it's when he says that the man's life consisted not in abundance of things. And talk about the man who also boasting his money. God says, I'll take your life from you this night. And who should be those things that you are accumulated? That's what God asks. God called him a fool. You see, so that why? Because curse is the man that trusts. The man who trusts in such acquaintances. Trust in what he can see and boast about them. So it is not only, sometimes people think that only what the problem that will come to such people is only financial cases. No. So sometimes this person will still have the finances, but the problem will come in a different way. The problem will come in a different way. Why? Because what he said is that cursed is the man who trusts in man and makes flesh the strength, whose heart departs from the Lord. For he shall be like a shrub in the desert, and shall not see when good comes, but shall inhabit the parched places in the wilderness, in a salt land which is not inhabited. The wise Christian is the one who is able to differentiate between the source and the channels. He is one who knows and understands that God is my source, but the business is just a channel. Such is a man or woman of great sagacity. A man or woman of understanding knows that God is the source, but my husband, wife, father, mother, children, career, profession, friends, associates, etc. are just channels. A fool sees the channels as the source. When a man is not at peace or is in fear, it is because he sees a problem with the channels. The source never changes. What causes fear? You are in fear when you see the channels crumbling. That's what causes fear. When man sees the channels crumbling or problems with the channels, then there is fear. The source never changes. He doesn't change in character, love, power, or willingness to provide. He is the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. God said, "For I am the Lord, I do not change. Therefore you are not consumed, O sons of Jacob." Malachi chapter 3, verse 6. This is why faith is that which pleases God. Why? Because faith trusts in the source, whilst fear trusts in the channels. See, as we are talking about this, you have to understand that this is not limited to only the job or finances. It applies to every other area and aspect of life. For instance, a Christian goes to the hospital, and then when you are given a deadly report, the person loses all the hope. Why? It's because you have seen the channels crumbling. They give you a deadly report. They tell you there's no solution to this problem. So why are you now in fear or have lost hope? It's because you see the channels crumbling. You see, but such people will say that, "Oh, God is my source." If God is your source, the question you ask yourself is that problem, can God solve it? You say that God is all powerful. There is nothing that he cannot do. So if really you saw God as the source, why then were you afraid or in fear or crumbling because of the doctor's report? It's really because if you're honest with yourself, you saw the channel as the source. You saw man, the doctor, as the source. Therefore, when he gave you the final word that you are not able to help you, you are going to die, or there's no solution to this problem, that's when you lost all the hope. Because to you, the channel was the source. You see that? You see why sometimes Christians die from sickness? Because how you respond to doctor's report is very important. What did you say? Cursed is the man who trusts in man. You saw the doctor as the source. saw the daughter as the source. Because if God was your source, the source of your health, that God is the source of your health, there's nothing that He cannot do. Jesus said, with God, all things are possible. So sometimes we say things when really our actions doesn't show, and God does not weigh your speeches. I like what Hannah said, the mother of Samuel. Says, don't be proud or arrogant, for God weighs actions. Because He doesn't just weigh words. He wants to see if your actions matches your words. And your actions will show really what is in your heart. Fear is not steadfast. See, fear staggers as he sees the channels crumbling. So it's about source and channels. That's what really faith and fear are about. When the one who has faith believes in the source, see God as the source. The one who has fear believes in the channels. He rather sees the channels as the source. So when he sees the channels crumbling, that's when fear sets in. When he sees no hope with the channels, that's when fear sets in. That's what it really is about. It's about source and channels. Trust in God, my brother and sister. Trust in God. You will limit the grace and provision of God in your life by trusting the channels. There are Christians who receive money only from the work they do. If money had come to them, it has only been through their career. This is because they see their channels as the source. When you understand that God is the source, you know that your job is just a channel and only one of the channels. You also see men as channels and not the source. Some ministers too are like that. They see the congregants as the source. They see the kingdom financiers as the source. And therefore, even that's why they cannot speak the truth to the congregants. They cannot say the truth to them. Why? Because you know that when I speak the truth to him or her, tomorrow the money will not come again. Why? Because to that minister, that kingdom financier, that congregant, that tithe payer is the source and not God. And that's what Paul meant when he says, if I please men, then I'm not a servant of God. And when you see men as source, you please them and not God. You please them and not God. One important principle to bearing fruit. So this year is a year of fruit bearing. One important principle to bearing fruit is understanding that God alone remains the source. Therefore, you don't look onto the channels, but the source for provision. You don't ask and beg channels, but God for provision. Yes, still, that is the mystery. Yes, still, He will provide through the channels. So you don't ask and beg the channels, but God for provision. You look unto God, but yes, still, He will not come from heaven unto earth to hand it into you. He will provide through the channels. And when the channels are helping you, assisting in any area, whether in your health, whether in finances, whether in any area, then you know who really is the source and who are the channels. You know that God is the source and man are channels. That is why He says, we have this treasure in earthly vessels, in clay vessels. The excellence of the poor may be of God and not of us. Why? He says, I am the source and the men are the channels. That is what He's saying. Faith never looks unto channels, but unto God. What then becomes the most important in life? It is making sure that you are in the will of the source, doing his desires. The reason why many Christians suffer unnecessarily is the lack of wisdom, not being in God's will. If I know that God is the source and that the channels are not the source, it becomes important and vital to make sure that I am doing and living out the will of the source. The solution to lack is being in the will of the source. God uttered his voice through his mouthpiece, the prophet Jeremiah, saying, and read Jeremiah chapter 17 from verse 5 to 8. It says, "Cursed is the man who trusts in man, and makes flesh his strength, whose heart departs from the Lord. For he shall be like a shrub in the desert, and shall not see when good comes, but shall inhabit the parched places in the wilderness, in a salt land which is not inhabited." Interestingly, God says that such people shall not see when good comes. What is God saying? It means that such people will even lack ideas to make wealth. Beloved, see God as the source. God bless you.